How is CO2 laser cutter used in printed fabric? Laser cutting is one of technology's numerous gifts to humans. It makes the industrial cutting process much more effortless by eliminating the need to hack rigorously when cutting, and it speeds up fabric cutting processes. Manual fabric cutting techniques require tools like scissors, knives, different types of blades, die modes and hot iron wire to cut. And although they may suffice sometimes, they are often not as effective as we want them to be. And even when they are, they tend to take up a large chunk of our time. The CO2 laser cutting technique, on the other hand, is more upgraded, and it utilizes lasers to vaporize materials, leaving clean and tidy edges afterward. What's more, with laser cutting, you do not need various cutting tools to perform different tasks. The CO2 laser cutter can cut through several materials like fabric, leather, and other non-metal materials perfectly. But that is not all. The laser cutter can also auto-cut printed designs on fabrics, with the assistance of camera and vision software, which make it even more desirable. This article focuses on how CO2 laser cutters are used in printed fabrics. But it would be both careless and costly to venture into laser cutting and engraving without first understanding the principles involved. You should first learn how the CO2 laser cutter works before proceeding to use it for printed fabric cutting. CO2 laser cutter and its optical components. A laser cutter is a cutting machine that creates designs and patterns by cutting into the material being worked on. The cuts are made by a powerful laser beam that vaporizes and melts the material to create sharp cuts. The beam is so powerful that it threw the material cleanly without leaving folds or traces on the edges. In fact, the beam may end up cutting more than what it was intended to if it is not very well controlled, which is why the laser cutting machine operators need necessary training and practice. The laser cutter consists of various parts that are assembled to make laser cutting possible. Each part functions uniquely, but complements other parts to produce an excellent result. Here are some of the essential optical components of a CO2 laser cutter. Glass laser tube. Ever wondered where the laser beam in a laser cutter emanates from? Well, the sharp, powerful laser beam is produced in the resonator, a small glass chamber inside the machine that has two mirrors facing each other. The glass chamber takes the shape of a tube, and it is filled with a mixture of gases like CO2, hydrogen, helium, and nitrogen gases. Diodes are also present in the tube, and they activate the gases by emitting light energy. Cutting head, reflective mirrors and focusing lens. After the lights are produced, the strategically placed reflective mirrors help them reflect off several parts of the glass surface and straight into the cutting head. The cutting head has a curved focusing lens, where the lights are magnified into a single, thin beam. And the distance between the focusing lens and the material surface is called the focal distance. According to different material depth, you need different focal length lens to have the best cutting effect. Using laser cutter for printed fabric. The printed fabric is a fabric material with a printed design. Fabric printing has become a widespread trend today, and you can find beautiful designs printed on fabrics wherever you look. These excellent results prove that fabric printing is a vital introduction, and this next generation fashion trend has come to stay. But the big puzzle for many people is, how is fabric printing done? The printing on fabrics and textile materials can be done in two ways, which are screen print, digital print. Both methods are somewhat distinct from each other, but they produce a similar excellent finish. Here's a comprehensive breakdown of both methods. A screen print is a fabric print that is produced by using a mesh to transfer a substrate. The ink is used to fill the mesh aperture by an instrument, called a squeegee, that moves across the screen during this process. The skin is then made to briefly make contact with the substrate along a line, known as the line of contact. But after the blade passes, the screen spring pulls back up and causes the ink to wet the substrate as a result. However, this process only allows for one printing at a time. Therefore, you will need to apply multiple screens if you wish to create a multicolored image in your design. Basic processes of screen print. Place the screen face down on the material. Apply ink on the back edge of the screen and use the squeegee to drag the ink across the screen without pressing it down against the material. Use the squeegee to drag the ink across the screen again, and press it down slightly on the screen. Repeat the step about 3-4 times until the design is transparent. Allow the ink to dry off, and your fabric design is ready. There are two types of screen printing used in fabric design and production. They are, by-piece, flatbed printing. Flatbed screen printing is an advanced automated version of the traditional handmade screen printing. And although this method of screen printing only prints in single patterns, rather than a continuous pattern, the multiple strokes of the squeegee present helps produce an enormous amount of print paste. By roll, rotary printing, rotary screen printing, on the other hand, is done by a machine that rolls screen shapes to allow continuous pattern making. But similar to flathead printing, rotary printing utilizes a metering system to control the quantity of die paste being fed into the printing mechanism. Screen printing has quickly become a favorite for customers who demand the designs be printed on their fabrics. This high demand only means that producing companies would have to struggle to meet up with exactly what the customer wants. Main application: top types of screen printed fabrics that laser cutting machines can work on. Clothing and garments. One fun fact about screen printing is that you can give it a go with just a little knowledge and experience you gather. Where better to try out the screen printing, if not on t-shirts and polo. This makes clothes and garments one of the most used application materials for screen printing. Pool leather shoes and bags. Modern shoe and bag makers prefer to use leather material for their products because of the material's flexibility. Another reason why they choose leather for these products is that they support screen printing, which is one of the top design methods. This technology is used to attach innovative ink to leather products so that it looks as if the material and the design are one. With this technology, companies can now imprint their brand name, logo, and other designs on their leather products, taking fashion to another level while advertising their brands. Labels and appliques. After the label or applique is prepared on the mesh using ink and the graphic overlay, it can then be transferred onto the material using the screen printing method. Again, the squeegee is used to heat press the mesh and paste the link on the substrate. One advantage of this method is that once the mesh is prepared, it can be used to produce several copies of the pattern. Plastic vinyl. It is difficult to imagine using a laser cutter to carry out screen printing on plastic because of the effect that heat usually has on plastic. But as impossible as it sounds, laser screen printing can be used to produce designs on plastic vinyl ideally, without causing any damage to the plastic material. However, this technique can only be carried out by a professional to avoid causing damages. Signs and displays. Screen printing is used to design big signs and displays on textiles and pop materials, and laser cutters are used to provide just the perfect finishes. The creative finishes that laser cutters leave on screen printed displays make them more sophisticated and give them higher quality. Plush toys. The fact that you can laser print on plush stuffed toys just goes to show that there's only a little limit on what you can work on with laser cutters. If you have a plush toy that you wish to customize, your best bet for a perfect design printing that lasts is laser screen printing. Digital print. Digital print refers to a fabric print that is produced by printing a digital-based image on fabric material. It is the most popular type of modern fabric printing, and it is preferred because it is a more professional printing method. This method is also a lot faster than other more traditional methods because it does not require regular printing plate changing. In this method, pigments are deposited onto the substrate, and then the laser heater is introduced to transfer the design to the fabric. The most suitable laser cutting machines for digital printing are the KD series and the KX series. There are two main digital laser printing methods, and they both function effectively, although their applications are quite different. They are dye sublimation. The dye sublimation method is a digital printing technique where ink is printed onto materials like plastic, paper, leather, or even fabric materials. It is called the sublimation method because the dye was initially thought to change directly from solid to gaseous form. However, it was later proven that the dye actually goes through a liquid form briefly before converting into gas. But the name was not changed after this finding, and it is still called the sublimation method today. This process uses more advanced machines to produce displays and designs on fabrics. When activated, the medium and colored panels are moved together by the rollers, and the heat of the laser is then introduced to transfer the dye onto the material. DTF, direct to fabric. The DTF digital printing technique is a new way of personalizing fabrics that is quickly becoming very popular. It is mainly used for apparel, workwear, and sportswear printing, and it leaves great quality finishes with an intense grip that can last for an extended period. This technique requires a PET film, and white paint is often used as background paint to help the print colors maintain top quality even on darker materials. How are laser cutters used in digital printing? Making and engraving designs on materials like fabrics, wood, and other composite materials have evolved from manual craftsmanship to more sophisticated approaches like digital printing. The laser cutter is used in this printing method to help give it a more precise and excellent finish. But how exactly is the laser cutter used in digital printing? Here's how. A computer is used to direct the laser cutter's highly powerful and accurate laser beam towards a section of the material, heating the material rapidly till it melts or evaporates partially. Main applications of laser cutter-aided digital printing. Customized garments and accessories. Companies often take advantage of this printing technique to place their company's logo on apparel as workwears, and on other accessories that are company-related. These logos are often digitally printed with laser cutters, and they are used as a method of advertisement. Sportswear and accessories. The sportswear market is huge, and shows potentials to become even bigger in the coming years. This results from the growing trend of sportswear as both an attire for sports activities and fashion wear off the tracks. Sportswear manufacturers use digital laser printing to make patterns, design logos, and paste sponsor names on sport wares, giving them just the perfect finish required. Advertising, signage, and banners. No doubt, advertising is the spine of marketing for any business, and it may not be proper to talk about advertising without mentioning billboards and banners. These advert media contain large images of products and services printed on them using the digital printing method. A laser cutter-aided digital printer produces creative and stunning prints for banners and signage, home textiles, wall murals, and floor graphics. Wall and floor designs have gone beyond ordinary brick paintings and placing tiles, and if you look closely, you'll notice some more sophisticated designs on walls and floors around. These designs are called wall or floor graphics, and they can come in the form of murals or logos made on composite materials. All these and more are made possible with the laser cutter digital printing technology that opens up several possibilities for designs and engravings. Plush toys. Plush toys are very good gifts for your kids and loved ones, whether it's the festive periods or not. But what is better than a plush toy? A personalized plush toy. With the aid of digital laser printing, you can design images, logos, and love notes on plush toys to make them the perfect gift for your loved one. Labels and appliques. Digital printing with a laser cutter is the go-to technique when it comes to printing labels and appliques. This is because the benefits of using this technique for labels and appliques are many, including a wide variety of design options, faster production, cost reducing, minimum waste. Plastic white ink. PET vinyl film. PET vinyl films are made of natural and environmental friendly materials, which means that they do not produce toxic gases when worked upon by lasers. Hence, laser cutter-aided digital printing is the favorite technique for making on them. Leather-made shoes and bags. When it comes to fashion accessories like shoes, bags, and wallets, leather materials are the most preferred. But plain colors like tan, black, brown, and white may seem too bland and dull to suit modern fashion. But with digital printing, you can spice up the appearance of these leather accessories by adding durable designs on them. However, some leather materials may not be very compatible with digital printing inks. But if you have the suitable leather material, you can be assured of a superb finish for your shoes and bags with laser cutter-aided digital printing. Laser cutters are undoubtedly one of the best technologies that have been introduced to the fashion and fabric making industries. Its precise and accurate cuts and finishes make it a very valuable tool, while its versatility only means that this technology has come to stay.